What has been your favorite date? Oh.
Wait, don't say it out loud.
Oh.
Don't say it out loud.
Oh, this is the quiz. Okay. Oh, wait. Samkit.
Yeah. We weren't just asking because we were like...
Okay, I was like, this is...
curious.
We're not that intrusive.
Like, this is a little weird, but okay.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Third Wheel. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm your other host, Hamish.
And today we are joined by Call It from Samkit Shah, our episode...
Call It from Samkit Shah, yeah.
Wait, what did I do? Did I say Call It?
Call It.
Oh, fuck's sake. Call Out nomination from Samkit Shah. This has started well. I don't even know what episode it was. We are joined by Hetanshi. Yeah, got that right?
Yes.
Good, awesome. How are you doing? And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, guys. I'm doing well. My name is Hetanshi, and I am currently a doctor in India. I was born in India, and when I was 2, I moved to Toronto. And then after that, when I turned 5, I moved to North Carolina, which is a state in America, one of the less popular ones. And then after 6th grade, we moved back to India, and I've been studying here ever since. Just finished medicine. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, awesome. Whereabouts in India are you right now?
I'm in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad. Whereabouts from India are you guys from?
Well, my mom's from Gujarat via Uganda. My dad's from Chennai.
Nice.
And mine's are both from Gujarat.
Good. We have a good Gujarat population on the podcast.
Yeah, so Samkit was the one who nominated you. Along those travels, so you've been quite a few years, Toronto, then North Carolina, then India. Like, what stage did you guys meet? We
met, so all of this was, moving around was childhood. And then 2nd year of college, actually, I went on a cruise. And so we're both part of the same like spiritual organization group, and they organized a cruise in Greece, and I went, and I still remember that the kids were just hanging out, and there's just this annoying boy who's like throwing starbursts at me. I've never talked to this person. I have no idea who he is, and he's just sitting across the room throwing candy at me. And I guess throughout the cruise we got to know each other, and nothing really happened then. Cut to a year and a half later, we met in India when there was an event, and he was here for a longer time. He was here for like a month and a half. And I think during that time we got to know each other, and we were like, okay, let's actually try this whole long distance game to see how it works out.
If throwing Starburst at someone is a new way of being sweet to someone.
I think it is. I don't know what it was. To this day, I question it.
New chirps technique, yeah. I might have to try it. So wait, for that year and a half then in between, from the cruise to Samkit going to India, did you guys not like speak?
So when things ended on the cruise, they ended in a very complicated way, because we were like, we've known each other for a week. Like, let's be honest, it's not smart to start anything. But then I think we just kept in touch through like Instagram or maybe like one phone call. We just lost touch, but we were still just connected through social media.
Yeah. What did you think of a cruise? Because I've been on one, and I'm like...
When you say a cruise, like, how long is it?
Like, it was a proper 7-day cruise, like, throughout Greece.
It can be longer as well, cruises. Like, it doesn't... Depends where you're going, really.
Yeah.
On the cruise. But yeah, when I went, I was quite youngish at the time, I guess. But I don't know. It was cool stopping off at different places and then going to visit, like, that city or town or whatever. Yeah. But when I like holiday, I just like going to, like, the pool and all that. And the pool on the cruise is, like, really cold. And I was like, ugh, it's not nice.
I don't think cruises are the best way to see a city or a country, because it's it's one day you move to one place, and then even if you like it, you can't stay, and you're at the excursion for a very limited amount of time. But I think the advantage was we went with a group of like 1,000 people.
Wow. Okay.
So there were at least like 40 to 50 kids. So even when we weren't on the excursions, we were on the cruise, all of us like playing cards, hanging out, going to the casino. So I guess when there's a large group, there's constantly something going on.
Is a cruise ship like shaky a lot, or is it just like, is it very stable? Because I assume you went out like quite far into
it's a little shaky, but I think you get used to it. Your body adapts to it, and then eventually you start ignoring it.
I do remember one night being like quite scared. One night it was pretty shaky, I found it.
I only say this because the one time I went on a boat was in San Francisco, and we went, it was just literally across the coast. It was like an hour thing.
Yeah.
And basically as they took us out through into the actual ocean bit, it started shaking so much, and I started feeling motion sick, and I was like to back. So
Oh no.
at the end of it, bro, I was feeling motion sick during it, so I just went quiet and I was just trying to breathe. Yeah, like fuck my life.
Yeah, like the cruise ship would be like multiple sizes bigger than that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it will have like bedrooms, like hundreds of bedrooms, and
Okay.
I think the cruise was still scary. Like if we, after sunset, if we were ever to go on the deck and you just look out into the ocean and it's pitch black and you just see waves and all of us are just like, if any one of us fell, like nobody would survive. No one would know that a body's been chucked over. It's scary because it's that deep and vast. And
yeah, don't watch Titanic before you go on one.
Yeah, for sure.
Not a wise choice. And then was the whole cruise a part, like, was everyone on the cruise a part of this, what do you say, spiritual group?
Yeah, not everybody. 1/3 of the cruise was.
Okay, right.
There was a lot of just family, friends, people we've known since we were like little, because I've been in this thing since like 2005. So I knew a lot of the people there, but my parents weren't there. So
okay, can you talk about it? Like, what is?
Yeah. Okay. So
what is it?
It's called Dada Bhagwan, and it's not really religion. It focuses more on spirituality and just, I think, going through life with it teaches values to help life be a little more easier, because they're like, life is going to be tough, but if you change your outlook on it, then that is going to impact the way it affects you.
Yeah.
In a very simple way. I think one very simple thing they have is fault is of the sufferer, for example. That's one value that they have, which means if you're in a situation and you see yourself suffering or, you're in pain, you need to know that that's your own fault in some way or the other. You get to pick how you feel in every situation.
So is that like to stop you from like blaming someone else? Yeah,
it helps you. It helps you see the person in front of you not at fault. And the easier it is to see that, the easier accepting whatever comes your way becomes.
Okay. And what like, how old are you when you like?
I was actually very young. I was, it was 2004 or 5. So we were 7, 8.
Yeah. So how did you get into like that stuff like at such?
I think when we were younger, the teachings were a lot easier. They would be simple. They'd just be like, let's just start being positive. Let's start that out. Like wake up and name like 5 things that you're grateful for, or 4 ways that you can be positive in this situation. Or we just tell kids that, at least wake up. And when you wake up, just start off the day by saying you don't want to hurt anybody. It's not your intention to hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of just pushing out like positivity and just positive vibes throughout the day. And, somehow those vibrations will affect you.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel like we've had a few people on recently where they've like chosen to spoke about like spirituality and kind of learned a lot more than I didn't really know much about spirituality. I just thought it was kind of religion and kind of something similar.
Yeah, I think with religion, I don't really associate myself with that much, because I don't believe in the whole, there's a statue and like you'll pray to it, and then on the other end with spirituality, it says if there is a statue or if there's something else that it's easier for you to give positive vibes to, then keep that. Because at the end of the day, when people go to like a mandir or a church, at the end of the day, they're not going to be saying bad things there. They're still going there, praying for something positive.
Basically, I think you're trying to say is that it's a different means to the same end.
Yeah, it is. Also. It is.
Cool. I don't know if you want to go into the game now.
From a relationship with God or spirituality to long distance relationship. How did you maintain the long distance relationship over this much time? Wait, when you say second year of college, like, is that like, whose uni years are we talking about? Like,
my uni years. So med school was 5.5 years. But Sammy and I are the same age. So it was second year for both of us. And then we got together after his uni ended. And that was during my 3rd year.
I feel like we've also talked about long distance Everyone seems to be in a long distance relationship. Or I don't know if that's like
the pandemic.
Because of COVID.
Yeah.
It might seem like
this was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, you got there in the first.
Yeah.
Also, how the hell did Samkit get over to India?
Oh, during this pandemic. We've met more during the pandemic than we have before. Pre-pandemic, we met like once in 10 months. And then right now we've already met twice this year.
Do you know, I rate it going to another country for the chirps during a pandemic, but like, it's something I would do, but I'm still like, it's a bit dodgy, Yeah, has it been like hard to maintain, or is it?
When we started dating, we kind of knew that I was very straightforward with the point of, if this is not going to be anything, I don't want to put the efforts in. because I've seen you for a month. I don't know when I'm seeing you next. I'm not going to put in like long hours if this is just a fling. So we both had to, make our priorities very clear. And with that, I think more than communication, we realized it's actions following communication that actually matters. Like we could talk about, oh, I need you to put more efforts in. I need you to do this or that. But then when there's no result, it's a bit dead.
Yeah. And then even like pre-pandemic, were you able to like see each other?
We didn't see each other the first 10 months of our relationship.
Oh, really?
Because flying cross country is very difficult when you're living with your parents. So we had to tell our parents. They had to agree with the fact that we wanted to fly across the world. And
what are like the parents like when it's like a long distance relationship? Are they like concerned about like the money you'd be spending on like travel? Or is it more like?
I don't think that concerned them. The money wasn't a lot of it. I think most of it was they were like, "Are you sure? Like, do you want to do this?" Because I think my parents are very traditional in the sense that if you like someone, you're going to end up marrying them. So telling them and then telling them that. We don't know about marriage yet. Like, let's slow it down. That part was a bit tough, but we still decided it was worth the risk if we got to see each other at the end of it.
No, that's cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
And you got a good story from like the cruise and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so. Worth it. I got the clout. I'm good.
Yeah. Good story to tell on the podcast. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a little game actually suggested by you on like a little like Mr. and Mrs. Because as Hamish said, Samkit's actually in India at the moment.
Surprise.
So they're both together at the moment.
Sup, boys?
How's it going?
Well gone, mate.
I was waiting until the next time I got an invite back on this.
Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to just essentially, I think the best way to do it is just ask one of you the questions now. So like, say like Samkit's answered the flipping phone 3 times.
You've answered what?
I answered it 3 times. I got bored and I started thinking more answers.
Like,
wait, what? So which one do you take?
That's not fair.
No, basically, he's made it easier for her because now she has multiple choice. Before this episode started, we asked both Hetanshi and Samkit the questions, what they preferred from these certain questions, and they've already answered it for us. Samkit got a bit carried away and he's given it basically multiple choice. So it's going to be a little bit easier one side than the other. So we're going to take it in turns, ask the questions and see who gets more of the questions right for the other.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask one of Samkit's questions now to Hetanshi to start with. And this has been, what has been Samkit's favorite date?
This is the only one I didn't know.
Oh, really? You did the rest?
Oh my God.
Remember, I've given 3 answers. Try and get all 3.
There's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crap. But do these include dates that we had before we started dating?
Use your intuition.
I have none right now.
I don't know if we should allow this conferring,
Is it... Crap. I'm so lost. Is one of them the one on the terrace?
Nah.
Bro, I don't know what he's counting as dates then.
Should we allow multiple goes? 3 chances to get it, maybe.
Oh, I'm definitely.
Oh, I like that.
I
like that.
You could do 2 chances, otherwise we're going to be here for 2 hours.
Is it the India versus England cricket match? Is that one of them?
Nah, that wasn't just us.
Oh my God! Now it has to be just 2.
Wait, did you have? I can't tell if you've had 2 guesses.
I've had 2 guesses. I said the terrace and then the cricket match.
Let Samkit say what it is.
I think the first one was The Fern and Fantastic Beasts.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The second one was Shot Go-Karting, was it?
But and that was also with a group of people?
No, we just went.
Oh, the one that we had like 2 days ago. Okay.
Oh my God.
Come on, the third wheel, we live for this.
What was the third one? Oh, I said the way back from Warwick. But what I'm gonna
I don't even know what that meant. I was like, what do you mean way back from Warwick?
That's
the important part is she does.
Let's move on.
Okay, Samkit, what is Hetanshi's favourite date?
I reckon she's probably written Sushi Samba, London.
And what is it?
It's Sushi Samba and Sky Gardens.
And Sky Garden. You know what? You both know these, right? Sushi Samba's on top of the Heron Tower. And
I wouldn't have gone to a sushi.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And Sky Garden also up high. That day was mad windy. And both of those things are like outdoor, up top kind of things. Yeah. They closed both for that day.
Wait, so what did you do if it was closed?
You know that like iconic orange tree outside Sushi Samba?
Okay, yeah.
We tried to get the best angle from the indoors and then just take a picture from that.
Fair enough.
All right, the second question is, if you're going to be third wheel, well, if Samkit was going to be third wheeled on a date, who would he choose to have?
I think, I have three options.
Three answers,
okay,
yeah.
I think I would pick Harshil, Neeraj, or Tharani.
Yeah, that is one of the answers.
Oh my god.
Samkit, what are the others?
The other two, I don't remember. I think one of them was Philip Wallen. And the other
Yeah,
was
who's that?
Oh, he's the ex-CEO of Citibank, and now he's turned into an animal activist. I think it would be joking. And the other one was David Attenborough. What a guy.
I thought we met people in our lives.
Yeah, I thought...
Yeah, that's what...
You know what? I thought that first too. And then I was like, you know what? We could be a bit more creative with this.
Make it insanely hard.
So he started with, I assume, to be your friend Tarini. And then he just went on the Hetanshi.
Yeah.
So you got a point there.
Tarini Panini's quite a cool name, you know.
Yeah.
It's got like a nice ring to it.
Yeah, she started a business.
Is that the actual name? Or is that a ping?
Nah, that's just...
She started a business?
Her handle.
Yeah. So I think
give her a shout out.
You should like if I shouted it out. Yeah. So Hetanshi's going to do it.
We'll do it later.
Oh, we'll do it.
Oh, later. Oh, it's later. Okay.
Good
Cool.
shout, yeah.
Soon comes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like, she's going to date her. I was like, what?
Oh, no, there's a segment for it.
Okay, Samkit, if same question to you basically, but on Hetanshi's side.
I reckon she probably said Vinita.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Genius.
I swear we weren't sitting together. I would not want to lose on record.
There is another name.
There's another name.
If you slip the third wheel like a tenner to our bank account, I'm sure we can adjust the scores. You know.
Wait, there's another name.
There's another name.
Oh, you're trying to give bonus points?
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well, right? I'm going to say Rohan.
No, that's my 9-month nephew.
Okay. No, Hetanshi, what is it?
Neeraj.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my brother. That's so cute.
The third one is, who is Samkit's celebrity crush?
Dude, okay, so in the past, it was Katrina Kaif. So, I don't know if she's one of them. He also finds...
I'll let you have a couple bonus points by going for more, so that is one of the answers.
Okay, Can I ask a side question? Are they all female?
I don't want to assume genders. It's 2018.
Ooh, safe. Do they identify as female?
The third wheel stays PC.
Is Hrithik Roshan one of them? Okay, so he has... Okay. I think I'm just go with that one guess. Katrina Kaif. He's obsessed.
Do you want to share your other?
Yeah. Who are the other two?
Oh, one's Nicole Scherzinger. Peng.
Yeah.
And the other one's Tom Hardy.
The disappointment on her face. I didn't think she would get the third. I was like, unless he's just been bragging about Tom Hardy.
He's fully just messed around this whole game. Yeah, I've answered it so sincerely.
Is it my go?
Cool. Yeah, same question.
I think it's Zayn Malik or Hrithik Roshan. It's one of those two.
You get one answer.
I think it's Hrithik Roshan then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samkit's on a roll.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Next question is, how many children do you want? And you have 3 different answers.
Dude, I don't want to know what he's answered. 4?
No, you can have 2 more guesses.
Are they all like impossible numbers that no woman can push out?
No. I'd say 2 of them are reasonable.
As a clue, it's all things we've discussed.
Yeah, cricket team.
Yeah, that's one point.
Cricket team.
There's another one if you want to go for another point.
For people that don't know what that means, that's 10 people.
Yeah.
10 kids.
Playing,
a cricket team is actually 11 people, but I don't know how they got 10.
Ah, one of us will play, and then one of us will manage.
Samkit's opening batsman.
So he meant cricket team though.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
What's the correct answer?
2.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, you got 2 points.
What was the third answer?
Samkit?
Sometimes 0.
Samkit, same question.
Well, the correct answer is 2. And she used to want a boy then a girl.
Nobody's asking all of that.
Oh, really? I actually gave the details. I wrote everything.
He's written this down in his answer.
Don't worry, you get
written exactly what
you get bonus points, Samkit. Don't worry.
So she used to want a boy than a girl, but recently she's been more warm to the idea of a girl than a boy.
Interesting. Yeah, get a point for that.
No.
What's my second? I had two answers for this.
You did too.
Did you actually? Is it also sometimes 0?
Yeah, 0 and 2.
Samkit knows.
Let's have him answer the questions first, because I think I'm saying the answers in some of mine.
Let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. The next question, Aaron.
Okay, Samkit, what is Hetanshi's favorite Bollywood film?
Favorite Bollywood film? K3G. I mean, it's not even difficult. Like,
Hetanshi, confirm.
Yeah, 100% correct. For him, he's written 3 movies.
No, we haven't.
No,
these are different.
We have different questions.
Yeah, I didn't know you had that question.
Oh.
I don't know if you fully understood the concept because I've seen the
ask both of them. Like just.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who is the favorite football player of all time? And if you don't follow football, say a music artist. So he's chosen to do both, so you have an advantage. But there's only even though he's submitted it 3 times, he's written the same thing 3 times. So you have one footballer and one musician to guess.
Okay, so for music, I would say The Weeknd.
Okay, yeah.
Samkit.
Okay, points for that. Oh my god. So I'm just going to clarify this on the record. I'm probably going to be attacked, but it's soccer.
It's football. Oh my god, get her off the podcast now. Get her off the podcast now. Oh my word.
Man.
I might have to beep that out.
I don't know the answer.
Do you agree with me on it? American football should be called hand egg. Like, football makes sense.
Yeah, I'd back that.
It was wrong for me. The wrong audience. Soccer player. Okay, so I know like 4. So I'm gonna go with my favorite, Aubameyang. But that's probably
Aubameyang.
I'm very new to the
Obama
game.
blood clot young.
Obama blood clot.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is the real answer?
Wait, what are the other 3 players, you know?
Lacazette, Guendouzi.
Okay.
Wait, who's the guy that passes? Ozil. No, assist.
Ozil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Ozil,
I know only Arsenal players because we love Arsenal.
She's well trained.
So actually, because the long distance, the first birthday gift that he got me was an Arsenal T-shirt with my name on it.
And she bought me AirPods.
I bought him AirPods, and then I got a T-shirt.
I know Arsenal's shirts are expensive these days. You know.
Facts.
Basically, same as an AirPod.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Like one single AirPod, not both.
Wrong. And then when the AirPods came to me, they got delivered to my office. I had to pay the taxes. So to be honest, it evened out.
Yeah.
Samkit, who is your favorite football player of all time?
Ronaldinho. I think you would have struggled with that.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Samkit, what is Hetanshi's favorite song / album?
Oh, is it Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone?
Oh, that's a 6 song.
Oh my god, it's the album. Yeah, I really like Posty.
And her favorite song from the album is 1,000 Bad Times.
I didn't specify. He just always wants those extra points.
That was the final question for Samkit, anyway.
Yeah.
Samkit does well in pub quizzes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
And okay, now the final question for you of what Samkit would have wrote is, what is his guilty pleasure? He's written 3 answers, completely distinct from each other.
One of them's the same as Hamish's.
Ooh.
Respect. All 3 are top quality.
Guilty pleasures. He's not guilty of any of them. He's so
facts.
proud of everything he does.
You know what? I was actually so close to writing that, but then I thought you guys would be like, oh, you have to write an answer.
No. We would have let it slide. Because if she guessed that as well, that's the
For
embarrassing.
the average person, I would say he likes very depressing Bollywood songs. The more depressing, the more he'll like it. And he'll fully go into like emotion. He probably hasn't written this.
She's right, but I haven't written that. Yeah.
All right.
What does that mean? I'm right, but you haven't written that.
You're right, though.
I want to hear some more guesses. Is there any?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have 2 more guesses. I'll give you 0.5 for that because that's Samkit's right there.
I don't know. This is guilty, but watching Dude Perfect on YouTube.
Dude
Trick
Perfect.
shots. Trick shots?
Wow, that's not guilty at all.
And the third guess that you like?
Man.
I actually forgot my middle one. I remember the first and the last one.
Your middle one's a bit. I'm a bit.
So weird.
Yeah,
I don't know any of these. I don't know.
Oh, no, I remember.
Samkit, do you want to Tell us.
You want to help me? You want to give me a hint?
One of them we do together.
You wouldn't guess it in your
Skincare?
wildest dreams.
I'm proud of my skincare.
Yeah, I don't know. What is it? I think I'm just...
But it's close to skincare.
What, like
It's
makeup?
close to it.
Closer.
Do you like getting makeup put on you?
Nah.
I don't know. Then what is it?
I like watching James Charles makeup videos.
Oh,
Yeah.
James. That's not guilty. That is something you should be proud of.
Nah, for me it's a bit guilty.
And what were the other two?
One was Taylor Swift. Hamish, I reckon that's the one that we share. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's a guilty pleasure. I don't give a fuck. Everyone gives me shit for it. But I'm like, you know what?
This
He has
is
good
what I
music.
mean. I don't feel guilty about it either. No, I'm proud of it. And the other one was MacBooks, actually.
I don't get this.
What
What do you
do
mean
you say?
MacBooks are a guilty
I
pleasure?
thought
I have
you
an
may not
iPhone.
get it. I'm one of those guys that like doesn't really like Apple. I think that they're stunting technological growth and all that. But that's besides the point. But MacBooks are just a different league to any other laptop. Like, I think MacBooks
I agree.
work. So I love them.
MacBooks are a guilty pleasure.
So weird, guys. This is not fair.
But yeah, the final scores are. So, Aaron, how many points have you recorded for?
I'm not gonna lie, I've not been recording points. I'm just,
Okay.
but I can tell you, Samkit didn't get one wrong. So
Yeah. Well, Hetanshi got 5.5,
Yeah.
so that's nearly one question.
There we go.
Samkit actually would have got 7.
Like,
Not
good
bad, not
question.
bad, not
Well
bad.
played, well played.
No.
Okay.
Well played,
Cheater.
Samkit.
She's mad
Such
competitive.
a cheater.
She's mad competitive.
Yeah, we're probably gonna fight about this after the podcast.
Yeah, fully. But listen, I think that ends my segment. I'm gonna give it back to you now. But boys, this has been great.
Yeah,
Cheers
pleasure,
for having
pleasure.
me back on.
Good seeing
Hope
you.
you get back safe. Don't spend time in quarantine hotel.
Cheers, buddy. All right, boys. Bye, bye,
All
bye.
right, see you,
In a
man.
bit, Have a good one.
Cool.
Well,
any
that's a first on the podcast.
any of those answers you just disagree with? They're
All
like,
of them.
nah.
All of them. David Attenborough, come on. I would be the third wheel.
yeah, exactly. Awesome. Yeah. So at the beginning, you like moving on a bit. You mentioned like traveling around quite a lot,
Mhm.
and you know, you were born in Toronto.
No. I was born in Ahmedabad, but then when I was like a year and a half.
Okay.
That's when we moved. So I don't remember
Okay,
much
cool.
of India as a baby.
Do you remember much of Canada? Or you
I do.
even, like,
Canada,
was
I
that too young?
remember. Canada and America, I remember very well. I think Canada, you're right. It's very, very cold. We would have, I think the weirdest part was the sun. During the summer, the sun wouldn't set till like 9:30. And then in the winters, it would set by like 2:33. So it was
Okay.
very weird living in partial darkness, partial like sunlight. And then also, I think Canada was very new for my parents as well, because it's the first time they moved out of a country, and we didn't have any family there. So I think it was very new. It was very big. I just remember life starting from Canada. I don't remember anything before it.
Yeah.
And then
No, that makes sense.
moving to America, I think America and Canada, I couldn't really differentiate as a kid because, you know, it's the same schedule. You go to school, you come home, you play with friends.
Yeah.
It was very, very different. It was very, I think my biggest cultural shock was probably when I moved to India in like year sixth grade, as we call it.
Yeah.
Because kids in America aren't told, I think girls in particular aren't told to behave in a certain way. As little girls, we haven't been told like, oh, don't go talk to this person. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't sit like this. All of that as a child, I never experienced. But I think once I came to India and, you know, started becoming a teenager and living in this country, I think a lot of times my mom did have to tell me, oh, don't go too close to this person, or sit this way, sit that way. So, and there's definitely a different in mindset. Like America, for example, if I were to wear shorts and walk out, this is like 2008. I'm sure I'm saying India's progressed since then. But back in 2008, if I was in America and I were to go out wearing shorts, nobody would bat an eye. Everybody would still be doing their own thing. But here, if I, you know, went out wearing shorts as even a 7th grader, an 8th grader, I'd have people turning heads, staring at me, or just you're constantly looked at the person who's the odd one out, doesn't fit in. I think that was very, very different.
Also, the accent. I can't like. It doesn't sound like an American accent. It doesn't really sound like much of an Indian accent either. It's like,
I think that happens when a child is living in two different countries at once, because even when we did live in India, I would be here throughout the school year. And then as soon as we hit like summer holidays, we'd go back for 3 months. And then it's just a mix of two accents. And recently, for the past 2 years, I've been hearing a little bit of your accent. So I think that's made its way in as well. I start saying bruv, saws. Oh, it's calm.
How did you find all that, like moving around when you were younger?
I learned to develop a sense of adaptability because of it. I was able to, it's like what they say, when in Rome, act like the Romans. So that part of me, I think, was able to develop. When I'm back in America, I could go back to being my normal self or just act like how I am in America. Versus when I'm in India, I might have to be a little more reserved, or I might have to, when I talk to someone in English, I have to realize that I have to speak a little slower, change my accent up a little bit, just so they can understand. And even just use English a little less. Because over here, people assume that just because you know English, you are superior to them. And I would never want someone that I'm talking to feel that way. So I would mix in a little more Gujarati, a little more Hindi. So they think that, we're all on the same level. We're communicating the same way.
And do you still keep in touch with like friends from like America?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've still kept in touch with most of them. School friends, not as much, but I think like community friends or a lot of the Indian friends that we would see at like Diwalis, Navratris, those kind of friends, I've definitely kept in touch with.
Yeah, awesome.
I was going to also ask, how does the education differ in USA versus India? Because I guess you went to both.
Man, I was dumb when I came to India. I didn't know anything. Because in America, we just to give you an idea, we just started learning what fractions were. I just knew that there's something called like 2/3 or 1/2. 1/2 is half. As soon as I came to India, they were multiplying and dividing fractions.
And this was, how old were you again?
11, so 6th grade.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember when I learned fractions. I assume it was younger than that though, yeah.
And I also had to learn Hindi and Gujarati as a subject over here.
So did you learn that when you were in America? Like
No. I didn't know
anything?
anything at all. So as soon as I came here, my teachers had to put me on a preschool level so they could teach me like Gujarati and Hindi letters and how to form sentences. And then because by year 10, we have boards here, and boards are monitored by the country. So they give you your exam paper basically. So I had to be at a 10th grade level by the time I was in 10th grade in both languages. So I think that was also a bit tough.
Wait, so did you go to like an international school?
I did go to an international school. Okay. I think also the concept of uniforms, very foreign to me.
Okay, right. Yeah, because in America, they don't really have...
No, and everybody goes to public school there. And then over here, they're like, oh, private school, oh, uniforms. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I think we've mentioned it on the podcast before, but what exactly do you mean when you say international school?
So in India, there's boards. Your board is basically like I think there's divisions. There's the state board, which is the Gujarat board exams. And then there's the international board, they're just names of boards. They're different types of like education systems you could put your child through. There's state, there's central, and there's international. So I was in international for the first few years that I was here. And then I moved to the central, which is all throughout India. They have the same curriculum. The state board, the curriculum changes through the state. So
okay.
Yeah, that's how the boards here work.
Do you miss America?
I do.
Like North Carolina?
I do. It's always been home to me. It always will be home to me. I just fit in a lot better. I guess
really? Do you think? Why do you think that? Like,
I think first of all, it's when we moved to India, it was just me and mom who moved, and my older brother and my dad stayed back because they couldn't really move then. Everything else was fine. It was just they couldn't move. So I always associate North Carolina as the four of us living together and it like a home,
Yeah. And do you think you'd ever go back?
Oh, 100%. I'm giving an exam to practice my residency over there. I chose to stay back in India because med school is a lot shorter and cheaper in India than it is in America.
Yeah. What was that exam about?
So the exam is called the USMLE, the US Medical Licensing Exam. And it's got 3 exams, actually. The third one you can give after you go into residency or your master's. The first 2 you have to give to apply for residency. So I'm taking a gap year now, and I will give the exams, or the steps as they call them, to be able to practice as a licensed physician in America. and to get into a residency over there.
Right, yeah. And so here as well, you've got being a girl in India versus USA. I know you mentioned it briefly, like kind of you touched on it, like if you wore shorts in America, they wouldn't like, look twice, but in India it's a bit more, I'm guessing it's a lot more serious than that.
It is. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I think even at the hospital when I'm there, and this I think females face even in America, but if I am standing next to a coworker who is also a doctor, and this is in no disrespect to, nurses, physiotherapists, like we're all a team at the hospital. Mm-hmm. But to simply identify as a nurse because of my gender, or to assume that I am not competent as a doctor because of my gender, I think I see that a lot more over here than I would over there.
Yeah, I think that is the thing. Like, growing up, I probably, if somebody said a nurse,
you picture a girl.
You imagine, you think, okay, it wasn't even that I thought like doctors were better than nurses. It was just like, I think I used to think that when you work in a hospital, you called the man a doctor and you called the woman a nurse. Like that was just how it was.
Yeah.
I think I learned that quite early due to an incident that, because when I was waiting there, essentially, I learned that basically, from what I remember, and even the previous times I've been, they always all wear the same thing anyways. So they're all wearing scrubs. Like blue.
Yeah, just here. Scrubs, yeah.
Yeah, so basically that's when I realized that, anyone can be a nurse and anyone can be a doctor. So the only way you can't be wrong is if you say everyone's a doctor and then they'll correct you if they're a nurse or something.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, especially when I was that young, I was like, I couldn't tell the difference. Like, who's a nurse and who's a doctor here, so...
So, I mean, I understand the difference, but and the confusion. But I think in our hospital, because it's a government hospital, there's a set of uniforms. Like the nurses have a set uniform. The doctors, for example, here I would wear like a kurti or like basically formal wear for India. It's like an Indian top and then like tights at the bottom or whatever. So they see that there is a difference in uniform. So we've made that part clear, but I think it's just they see a girl and automatically it's, you're a nurse. Go do this for me. Go do that for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that kind of labeling or putting them into a box and then leaving it that mentally instead of being open to the idea that I guess it's a bit more equal than that.
But this is, I think, not focusing on just the negative side. I think because India and America have this difference in the way they treat girls, anything I do here is probably going to be more impactful, because if I am in the hospital as a doctor and like a little girl comes up to me, like I could go up to her parents and be like, look, if you let her study over here, it's still a big deal. I'll be like, because it's a government hospital. So we get like people of the lower socioeconomic class who come as patients. So if they have daughters, I'll be like, let her study. She could be a doctor like me. Like she gets to do this. She gets to, so they tend to listen because they've actually seen it now.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a role model kind of thing to look to. And as well, we've had I know you're like pretty young, but like being someone who's not white and growing up in America, we had Zara on a little while ago, who a bit more west to North Carolina, like she's in Texas and Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know she was saying like racism there particularly bad, and like Southern America is quite bad there, and like some of the things that she's like experienced. I don't know, can you remember much of that, or is it?
I don't think I remember racism because I was like 5th grade. I don't even think kids knew what the difference was. But yeah, I don't think I remember racism that way. But what I do remember is casteism, because that's very prevalent in India.
Can you like just explain that a bit, like what?
So
exactly is?
In the past, like this is before the Britishers came to India, the people here were divided into castes. So there were the Kshatriyas, the Brahmins, the Vaishnavas, and the Shudras. I think that's the name. So they all have a group of people who are doing different things. Like Kshatriyas, for example, were meant to rule. They go to war. They were those. The Brahmins were the ones who were like religious and they taught. They educated. The Vaishnavas are the Vaishnavas or the Vanyas, or their main role was to do business and trade and all of that. And then the Shudras, or the lower class, is what they were called. And they were called the untouchables. Because of their caste, they did work like they would clean, and they would work at people's houses. And it was just a lower, like more laborious jobs. So that still continued regardless of the Britishers here or not. And I would see it in terms of some parents wouldn't want their kids hanging out with people from the lower caste. It's just don't associate yourself with them. It's okay. Like, why do you need to? You can be friends, that's fine. But then why do you have to go over to her house? Or why do you have to have a sleepover with her? Or just, it's small things. Like, our parents are trying to move past it, but they still see, I think it's very deeply rooted in them to have some sort of, opinion about the different castes or even the different religions, like the Hindu, Muslim, because there would be like riots in India between these two religions.
So are these castes like associated with different areas in India?
Not areas. One town could have all 4 castes.
Right.
But they would just be doing different things.
So how would you get like assigned a caste?
You were born into a caste. I don't know who started the assigning, but I think you're just born into it. It's like a race. You were just born into it.
Right.
Yeah. And you couldn't like move up or down?
No, you couldn't. No, I think that's for females. It was considered, I think that's the only way you moved up or down is by marriage. If you married into like a Kshatriya family, then you are now considered a Kshatriya. Your children will be considered a Kshatriya. If you married into a lower family, just for the females, not for the men.
And that's still around today.
It's still around in the sense that most parents will be like, only marry a Patel.
Yeah, like it's in the back of their head or something.
It is for sure.
Yeah, like it's not intentional. Or like they'll say like certain ways. So like, for example, because I'm like veg like half the week, if not most of the week. So they'll be like, oh, you're a Brahmin or so on. And I'm just like, honestly, I couldn't care. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but like, it's not like they intentionally try to do it. It's just like, it's in the back of their head. They're like, oh,
it is.
They're like usually people that don't eat like, chicken and so on. So like, yeah, you're basically, they'll just say, oh, that he's the Brahmin and then these two are the normal ones.
Yeah, like they'll ask you your last name and then just automatically that's the next thing that comes into their heads. And that's something I've only seen in India is where people ask your last name and be like, oh, you're a this or oh, you're a that.
Okay, so I was going to ask, like, how do they know you belong to a particular caste?
Last names.
These last names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or if they know your family in some way. Like,
yeah, I think you can usually just tell by the last name because if it's a popular last name, you would just know.
Yeah, moving on a bit then. Unless Hamish, did you have anything else? Or did you have anything else you want to touch on that stuff? No? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've mentioned like when we were talking about like working in India and you doing your exam to be like a licensed in the United States. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your career. Would you like to talk a bit about that?
So I am a doctor. I just became a doctor last year. And the curriculum in India is that you have 4.5 years of med school and then you have a year of internship. So during your internship, they will rotate you between departments like surgery, gynecology, anesthesia, et cetera, et cetera. So I started my internship on the 1st of March, 2020. And 20 days later, everything changed. India went into a lockdown and it was scary. It was like The Walking Dead. Like you'd go out, nobody's on the roads. There would be police checkpoints every like, I think 500 meters maybe to ask why you're outside. And I would say I'm a doctor.
So it's like a strict lockdown, like
completely
literally.
Strict. Everything was closed. Like we couldn't find food at like the grocery stores and stuff. But we'd still have to go to work. And it was very new because normally if we had a confusion, we'd ask our professor and they'd be like, oh, do this, you're good. This time we're all just like, we have no idea what to do.
I can't even imagine what it must have been.
And then I think June came along and they decided that we're going to need interns for COVID duty as well. So they sent us to a hotel for like 15 days where we'd have 10 days of work and then 5 days of quarantine because we couldn't be working at COVID wards and then coming home. And I remember on my first day, I was terrified. I was drenched in my own sweat because of the PPE. Like it's plastic and you're sweating and it's the middle of summer in India and you have masks on. And I went up to one of my professors who was also in one of the wards. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like everybody around me is dying. Like everybody's just dying. Like, what do we do? And he's like, I don't know. I've never seen this in my career. He's like, this is something you're never going to see again.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's where you're just kind of thrown into the deep end, especially being someone.
Yeah, I think so.
Just
and it was
died.
scary for us because we would have to come home to our like parents, and there was no vaccine. There was no way we could avoid it. Like I remember one of my best friends. She obviously would like hide and come and see me somehow, but her mom would be like, don't go hanging out with Hetanshi right now. She works at the hospital. Like,
Right.
don't. So they would try to isolate you. Like nobody wants to go to the doctors, and we're constantly with the patients, and
Yeah.
it's a bit scary.
Did you ever contract COVID via thing or not?
No, but it was very easy to get scares. Like I would work with one of my professors, like on a normal round, like not even in COVID, like a normal work day. I'd work with a professor or a coworker. 2 days later, I get a text saying, "Oh shit, that person tested positive." So I'm like, "Oh my God." Like I have to stay away from my parents now for another week. So I've had so many rounds of just quarantining myself from that.
Have you been isolated since? I mean, not isolated, vaccinated since?
I have. We've gotten both doses as soon as the vaccines came out. So we were lucky enough to get that.
Oh, awesome.
But I don't think people understood how dangerous this virus actually was, because, I mean, they'd still be going out. They still wouldn't wear their masks.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what I say in my local area, because basically a lot of them, like a lot of it is Indian population or like, like just general like South Asian population.
Yeah.
And they just don't seem to understand the concept, because obviously there's a lack of education. And honestly, it's like one of the most infuriating things. Like I'll try and maintain my distance, mask on, everything, but I also know that they're not fully at fault, but there's a level of ignorance that you can only have, like that I hold everyone accountable to, like there's a level there is, but I understand to an extent why you're like this, but come on, like your family members are dying. You're not telling, like there were cases where basically people had family members dying and they chose not to tell the ambulance that picked them up at home that they thought they had COVID, but they didn't get tested or something. I was like, what are you, like, what is this? I really can't.
You know how they say that if slaughterhouses had glass walls, more people would be vegetarian? If these hospitals had glass walls, people would not leave their houses. Like I think to this day, because so ventilators make a certain noise every minute just to confirm that they're working. It's just a beeping noise. So when you're in a COVID ward, I was actually in the COVID ICU. So there's like 15 monitors just going off for 6 hours. You just hear like, so anytime I go inside an ICU now and I hear those ventilators, I'm a little terrified. I'm like, oh shit, it's that again. So I think if people could see what these ICU wards look like, they would put their mask on.
Maybe you usually at least see like some of the worst stuff. Like I saw some like government hospitals had like really poor cases of hygiene as well around it and couldn't even do anything about it. Obviously not by their own fault. It's just like they just didn't have any support whatsoever.
It's 1.2 billion people. It's very tough to manage. I think there were so many patients that I remember at one point, one of the workers at the hospital I was at one patient's bed and he came to me, he tapped on my shoulder and he's like, ma'am, someone's dead over there. Can you check that out? And then we would have bodies just lined up in the hallways waiting for someone to pick them up and like dispose them away.
Did that, like during the height of that, at any point, did that kind of make you reconsider, like, do I really want to do this? Or did it do the opposite, if anything, like, okay, I need to like help out?
It did the opposite.
Yeah.
It did the opposite. I was like, if me being here 6 hours a day makes this much of a difference, what could I do in a lifetime?
Yeah. No, that's good. That's awesome.
And you've probably been there, well, at least for the current foreseeable future, you've probably been there for the worst of it.
Yeah, I hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I don't want to see this happening again.
What's it looking like now in India compared to what it was 6 months ago?
So we had one of our biggest peaks in like August where we had like 60K, 70K. I think it even went up to that per day cases. And then it went down, and then December, January, and then this is very, very irresponsible, but in March we had a cricket match with a full stadium. We had like 2 to 3 cricket matches, and after that it's not been good. And there was elections as well. So what the government did is just during the elections they loosened up the rules a bit because they're like, it's not as bad. And because of that, I think we're going on a second wave.
Yeah, they had they didn't have the same restrictions kick in. From what I could see on the news, it wasn't like it was taken too heavily early on at least. So they had a massive first wave. Like we think we had a massive first wave, but they had it way worse than us.
Yeah, your December lockdown was our March, April, May.
Right.
And then they eased the lockdown, and then that's when our first wave happened.
And more about the like vaccination program.
That has started. It started in January, and I think now we're at the 40 to 50 years. They're vaccinating those who are between 40 to 50. Everyone else has been covered.
You said our December lockdown. Do you mean our first lockdown or second lockdown? Because our first lockdown was in March.
Oh, that wasn't really a lockdown. Was it a big lockdown?
To be honest, we haven't had a lockdown like the one you described India had.
Yeah.
Like ours has still been like, you can probably quite easily go out and do stuff with your friends without getting caught.
You can go to a park. We couldn't even do that. Like we were not allowed on the streets.
Oh yeah, that's now the first one. I think we couldn't even go to a park. Like we were actually.
Yeah, but you could. Like there wasn't like police on the street or anything like that.
Yeah.
Here you get fined if you're in a car with more than one person, and if you're not wearing a mask while driving, you're gonna get stopped and you have to pay 1,000 rupees.
Yeah, I would love to see people getting fined here. I was like, yeah, you get fucking served. But like I've seen that they've been quite kind with the fines. People who've been fined at least for driving 6 miles or so, like they just like pardon the fine or whatever. And I'm like, please just find these little fuckers. There's no excuse for you to be going out.
So this exam that you're doing, that's to become a doctor over in America.
Yeah.
Have you had experience like working as a doctor in America or somewhere other than India?
I guess I've seen it through family physicians and stuff. I've gone with them and then they've shown me around, and not a lot of experience because I just became certified. So
yeah. No, I was just going to see if there's like a big difference in working in the two different countries.
There is for sure. I'm sure there's the whole paper versus on computer difference, then which now private hospitals here probably have, but I've only been in the government hospitals here.
Okay, so what you're working? So it's not very like techie.
No, it's not techie at all. No, it's free for everybody. It's a bit dirty. We have patients from like lower socioeconomic classes. It's very different in practice. They can barely understand normal Gujarati. So for them to understand like a disease is very different.
Yeah. What does like, I don't know if you can even like, if this would be easy to explain, but what's a standard? I know the last year has not been standard, but like what's like an average day in the life of a doctor like look like?
I think it depends on the shifts you're in and the department you're in. If you're in the night shift, it can either get hectic or it can be very quiet. You know, you go in the morning, you either see patients on an outpatient basis, which is just like you're sitting, they come, they're like, I have a cough, you write down the medications, then they go home. That's one aspect. Another is, okay, you're actually very sick, you're going to have to get admitted. So you go to wards, you have rounds in wards where you just, make sure all the patients are doing okay, monitor their medications. If you think there's any changes needed, that's all of that. And then the fancy stuff is getting to go into surgery, getting to like do deliveries by yourself, tending to emergency cases, like trauma cases. I don't think I can ever plan out a day. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen when I go.
What is like the working hours?
So for the government hospital, we've had either an 8 to 2 shift, a 2 to 8 shift, or an 8 to 8 shift, like a 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift. And then 6 hours, and then a 9 to 5 sometimes if you're just an outpatient.
Right.
So it's not fixed.
Okay.
I was going to say, are you looking to become so right now you're a doctor, but you can still do surgery. Are you looking to become a surgeon, something like more specific, or are you just planning to stay as
I think I want to go into pediatrics. Clearly, if I'm making a cricket team, I should know my kids very well. No, but I think children are they're basically the future of society. So taking care of them, and I think it personally gives me a great amount of job satisfaction when you see like a kid who's been sick and then he's okay and he's just like running around, and makes the job worthwhile.
Yeah, I guess you can also show them more equality and also continue to do the impact you said you would about the education.
Yeah, I think so.
And even educate, I guess, younger boys as well, because they may only have assumed that it's only going to be male doctors.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially growing up in India.
Yeah.
When did you kind of decide you wanted to become a doctor? Or when did you first start like getting a kind of, oh, this could be something I want to do?
I think as a child, my friends have always told me I've been the mother of the group. I'm always the one who's watching out for everybody, taking care of everyone. In the smallest ways, I'll be like, oh, did you get your water bottle? Or did you finish this? Did you finish that? So I think that part of me, I was like, how can I do this more? And not just for the people around me, for everybody around me. And I think a doctor is the closest way for me to be able to do that, because taking care of someone's health is very personal.
Yeah.
And it differs from person to person. It's not just like one type of care that you give for everybody. It's different in different ways.
I've received so many doctor jokes from like all my white friends. It'd be like, are you going to become a doctor? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing.
I think Russell Peters had a segment where he talked about female doctors, and he's like, male doctors, they've probably just been forced by their parents to become a doctor. But for Indian parents, the parents go to her and they're like, why do you want to be a doctor when you can just marry one?
Okay.
So then he's like, I'm going to go to a female doctor because she actually wanted to be a doctor.
That's quite funny. On the COVID stuff in India, I hope does it look promising at the moment, or you said it's going to go into a second lockdown? I don't know, with the vaccine stuff, it's like, because of the vaccine, it might be looking promising, but you just said you're just going into a second lockdown, and nobody seems to be listening, so.
Yeah. No pandemic in the history of any pandemics we've had has finished in a year and a half. The average has been 3 to 5 years. So I know COVID's not going anywhere.
Well, they did say it's going to be around, like it's always going to be around, but just more treated like a flu kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the vaccine. Yeah. It's not to get rid of COVID. It's to turn it from a pandemic into an endemic, which means just so that we have less severe cases. If you're vaccinated and then you get COVID, it's going to be a flu. You're just going to have a cough. You're going to be at home. You're going to be fine. But it's just to stop from all these people dying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully it improves soon.
When are you guys getting the vaccine?
I have no idea at the moment.
The potential shortages in stock, and then all the uncertainty around the AstraZeneca one is causing a lot of chaos, I see.
Yeah.
But I saw this morning, I think, or last night, there were 5 million people with second doses already in the UK. So, and we're still waiting for our first ones, I believe. Believe me, and we're both waiting for first ones. I've tried to be in touch, saying, look, if you have spare Pfizer ones at the end of the day, the ones where my parents got vaccinated, I was like, just call. I'll literally turn up in 30 minutes. Like,
wait, so you wouldn't take the AstraZeneca?
No, but like the Pfizer one was closer, anyways. I tried to book myself in for AstraZeneca, anyways, but like, basically, it's just not happening. The website crashed when they had like a mass vaccination option a bit further out, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. And I think based on before the AstraZeneca blood clot stuff, alleged blood clot stuff happened, I already wanted the Pfizer one because I think it was 96% effective after 2 doses, and AstraZeneca was like just a bit less, but I just thought the Pfizer one would be better. But like that's obviously based on my limited science knowledge, limited, but I think enough to get by. But I wouldn't mind having the AstraZeneca one anyways. Like that doesn't bother me. Like just get me vaccinated so I can get back to
love the
half
attitude.
A normal life.
Love the attitude.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll just wait for it whenever I get it, I'll get it. Like I think it'll probably be in July or something, probably June, July, which isn't awful.
One of the reasons I didn't go out with my friends to Central the other day was because I didn't want to be in the vicinity of that many people. Like I can meet up with them in a park, I'm fine to do that, but going into Central to go into a park or something, that was one of the reasons I was like, there's no way I could currently hack thinking about that, so that's not happening. But yeah, I was like, yeah, let me just not do this one. I'll take a nap during the day because I only had 3 hours of sleep from the previous night, but I'll catch up soon enough anyways.
Yeah.
And hopefully, let's just see what happens in it, because currently I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure if the UK is just going to be fully stupid and not enough people with vaccines are just going to go being stupid. So I just want to see what happens and ideally get vaccinated, at least the first dose.
Yeah. Until then, you have your mask and your bottle of sanitizer. So those are very helpful too.
You heard that from a doctor first.
Right next to me.
I had sanitizer on me long before COVID, and people used to think I was like some sort of hygiene freak. I am probably, but
You just knew.
Now look at the world.
Who's laughing now? Uh-huh.
Oh, you haters, bro.
Now I see everyone carrying a
trendsetter. That's what I'm saying, David. You said it. Trendsetter. Also, running out of time now, so I guess we'll start to wrap up the episode. How we do it is we end it with some like final questions, a call out, and then a shout out. So, final questions. We'll go for the first one, and that is: if you had the chance to make a documentary, what would it be about?
Okay, so my first answer was going to be about like the ocean and stuff, but seeing that Seaspiracy has already come out, so I'm going to divert to a less, I think, serious topic. I love conspiracies. 9/11 conspiracy, the Bermuda Triangle conspiracy. All of that stuff is just so interesting.
What about the COVID conspiracy? Microchips and all that.
Okay, the microchips. Sure, why not? The COVID conspiracy, but how it started. I think that's a great one too. I used to watch a lot of Shane Dawson before. He used to have a lot of conspiracies and stuff. So I think
before he got cancelled.
Yeah, he got cancelled. But that's why I said used to. Emphasis on the used to. But yeah, I think just about all these conspiracies, like pick like 2-3 really, really good ones and like deepen them.
Yeah, awesome. Any particular ones? Yeah, like what's your favorite conspiracy?
Ooh, the Illuminati. I want to know so much about the Illuminati. What is the secret society that Kanye and Taylor are a part of?
Yeah.
The second question is, in a film about your life, who would you want to play or be the actress of yourself?
Okay, so I have 3 reasons for it, and let's see if you can guess the actress based on my reasons.
Wait, is it a Bollywood actress or is it?
Yeah. Bollywood. I'd want an Indian playing me. No, you know her. First of all, I think she's beautiful. Okay. Second,
that narrows it down.
That does. Second, I think she also has a similar raspy voice kind of thing. Third is I like how she balances her life between America and India as well.
Priyanka Chopra.
100%, yes.
The one, is that? Yeah.
Banged it. Come on.
I was thinking Jonas Brothers. I was like,
Jonas Brothers, yeah. And who doesn't want a Jonas brother? Come on. She's huge in Bollywood. Like she goes back to like 2000s. She was in there. She's in movies with like Shah Rukh Khan. She's still doing movies. And she does a lot of other things except movies. She's like a part of UNICEF and like she believes that, girls should be educated and like she does a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think she should be fit to play.
Cool. Yeah. Third question, third and final question. This is a question we ask every guest. And that is, what has been your most memorable third wheeling experience? And this could be fifth wheeling, seventh wheel.
Okay, so this is definitely third wheeling. It was for my brother and his at the time girlfriend, who is now his wife, has been for the past 10 years. And I third wheeled the proposal.
Okay, break that down.
So my brother.
Were you the ring bearer? Like, what was this?
No. So I'm pretty sure my brother just did this to keep me around. I was the photographer for the proposal. And what it was is this was back in North Carolina. They've gone to the same, college, and so North Carolina and all of Raleigh is just very close and familiar to them. So he made a treasure hunt throughout Raleigh at like their favorite Starbucks or their favorite Indo-Chinese restaurant. And it ended up at like a park that they both used to go to just like talk shit out or, and he comes to me the night before and he's like, can you be my photographer? So I don't know if he forgot to hire one or if he actually wanted me around. But throughout the day, I was just sitting in the backseat of the car, just taking pictures. And anything that they would do, I would just be taking pictures. And I mean, they'd have to feed me on the side as well. And I remember after the proposal ended, they were like, oh, thank you for doing this. What do you want? And I was like, I want you guys to take pictures of me now because I've done this for you all day. So after their whole ring part ended, I gave them the camera and I was like, all right, my turn.
Fair enough.
It was okay. I mean, look at them now. They're married.
Worked out. You're a part of that, so.
Yeah, 100%.
Photo credits on that. The next section is a call out / nomination. So you can choose basically one or many people to hopefully be a guest in the future.
I think I'm going to give a shout out to Panini. She's one of Samkit's friends. My friend now. I've claimed her. She always takes my side. She is just so much fun. She's obsessed with TikToks. So she's jumped onto that bandwagon. And she's recently started her own business called Chai Cart, where she makes these like chai bombs. in like different shapes. And I think she's starting off with like different flavors. And I think it's really, really cool. She also just goes through life with a really positive attitude. And I love that about her. I think I definitely want to call her out for the next episode.
Yeah, awesome. I feel like I'm looking at her Instagram now, and I feel like I've seen it. It's like someone shared it on Instagram before that I've seen. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll tag her when we release your episode. Cool. And last bit is a shout out. So basically anything you want to just like give a plug. You might have already done so. Not sure.
Yeah. I think I'll just add another shout out to Ann Pause. My boyfriend, Samkit, started a business in the middle of the pandemic. Well, it started right before the pandemic. And I hope, COVID goes away and we can start it back up. It's basically corporate massages, because I agree with it. We need to pay more attention to how people are at work. It affects their mental health. It also affects their physical health. And I think taking care of that will drastically decrease the probability of chronic problems in our generation, like backaches, diabetes. All of that can drop down if you're just a little more conscious at work.
Yep. Awesome. And Hamish?
Yeah, I was just going to shout out an album I've had on loop recently called Hoodie Season by A Boogie with the Hoodie. If you don't really know the artist, it's a great artist, and that's probably one of his best pieces of work. So go check it out.
Cool. I'm going to, I'll give a shout out to Samkit and his episode on the third wheel. So that's episode 53. If you liked what you heard earlier in the episode when Samkit was on, go listen to his episode. Talked about ampoules, if you're interested in that as well, and various other stuff. So go listen to that if you're interested. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Hetanshi, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Nice meeting you as well.
And hope everyone else enjoyed the episode. And I guess we'll just speak to you next week. All right, see you guys.
Have a good day. See you in a bit. Bye.
The studio is my second home. That's why I have it in my bedroom. I really do this all on my own. A shark quarry and my brother home. He was here from the day one. I'm not gonna lie, he's a real